Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Valli from Naperville, Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Valli Mataji, and was pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati. Hare Krishna Bhagavati Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, and was pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances unto you and all of the devotees here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Ekaradika Lila Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Ekaradika Leela Mataji, and was pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to introduce?
Kumari Mataji, please go ahead. I don't know. I interrupted her. I wanted to. She's unmuted, but we can't hear her.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Meghan.
Hare Krishna Indulekha Karna Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavas Pranam to you and all the devotees. All glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Prabhupada. This is Mohin Lakshmi, 25.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Please accept my most humble obeisances to you and to all the respectful devotees across. Myself Jyoti Takne from India, Shalapur. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Radha Jyoti Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vatsala Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shyama Gauri Dasi.
Hare Krishna Shyama Gauri Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramaya from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Anita Mataji. Hare Krishna Anita Mataji, Dandavas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaurvilas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 7.4.27 and 28. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji for the brief introduction. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories, all glories, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. As Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji just said, we are so fortunate to have Prabhuji with us today in class. Today, our class will be given by His Grace Gaurvilas Prabhuji, who came to Krishna consciousness in 2004, and he earned a MBBS degree from Grant Medical College. Gaurvilas Prabhuji joined the ashram in 2010, and he was initiated as the disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2012. Gaurvilas Prabhuji preaches in various medical and engineering colleges. He also conducts programs for doctors at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and in corporate environments. He is a teacher of Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav courses, and he also conducts congregational programs in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Gaurvilas Prabhuji has done thorough studies of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Welcome to the class, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this opportunity to serve in class. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapatikamadam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Savgana Raghunathanvitam Samsajivam Advaitam Avadhutam Parijana Sri Radha Krishna
गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe. Today we'll be discussing verse number 27 and 28. I recite the 27th verse. Yada deveshu vedeshu goshu vipreshu sadhushu dharme mai cha vidveshah sava ashu vinashyati. When one is envious of the demigods who represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of the Vedas, which give all knowledge of the cows, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and religious principles, and ultimately of me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he and his civilization will be vanquished without delay. Nirvairaya prashantaya swasutaya mahatmane prahaladaya yada truhyed dhanishye varorchitam. When Hiranyakashipu teases the great devotee Prahlad, his own son, who is peaceful and sober, and who has no enemy, I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately, despite the benedictions of Brahma. Purport. Of all the sinful activities, an offense to the pure devotee or Vaishnava is most severe. An offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava is so disastrous that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has compared it to mad elephant that enters a garden and causes great havoc by uprooting many plants and trees. If one is an offender at the lotus feet of Brahmana or Vaishnava, his offenses uproot all his auspicious activities. One should therefore very carefully guard against committing Vaishnava aparad or offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Here the Lord clearly says that although Hiranyakashipu had received benedictions from Lord Brahma, these benedictions would be null and void as soon as he committed an offense at the lotus feet of Prahlad Maharaj, his own son. A Vaishnava like Prahlad Maharaj is described herein as Nirvaira, having no enemies. Elsewhere in Bhagavatam it is said, Ajar Shatra Shanta Sadhavas Sadhabhushana. A devotee has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. A devotee does not create enmity with anyone. But if someone becomes his enemy, that person will be vanquished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite whatever benedictions he may have received from other sources. Hiranyakashipu was certainly enjoying the fruitful results of his austerities, but here the Lord says that as soon as he committed an offense at the lotus feet of Prahlad Maharaj, he would be ruined. One's longevity, opulence, beauty, education, and whatever else one may possess as a result of pious activities cannot protect one if one commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Despite whatever one possesses, if one offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, he will be vanquished. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing from this very, very instructive purport of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this, Prabhupada is very, very strongly describing the consequences of Vaishnava Aparadh. In this whole story, we can see Hiranyakashipu. He had achieved everything which any materialistic person wants to have. All the opulences of this world were practically under his control. He had everything in life. Whatever he wanted. And the person who is at the level of Hiranyakashipu, it is assumed that he will be the happiest person and most satisfied and blissful person. Because that's what people want by achieving the name, fame, wealth of this world, sense gratification of this world. People want to be unlimitedly happy, unlimitedly satisfied, without any obstructions. This canto, seventh canto, describes very graphically the consequences of a godless living. Nobody can be satisfied without Lord. Just yesterday, there was a very, very historical day when Lord Ram was established. There was a Pran Pratishtha of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. Ram Rajya without Ram is not possible. In the kingdom of Lord Ram, everybody was satisfied, everybody was happy. So people of Lanka were also prosperous, people of Ayodhya were also prosperous. But the difference was people of Lanka, they were never satisfied with whatever they had. And Ayodhyavasis, they were always satisfied. So this is a very, very graphic description which tells the mentality of people of the world and the consequences which they face if they continue to live like that. And Lord Vishnu himself here, he is telling that this Hiranyakashipu, whoever he may be, however powerful he may be, whatever benedictions he may have received, I will destroy him. Hiranyakashipu, by his power, by his intelligence, he asked so many benedictions, practically making him immortal. But nobody can beat the knowledge and intelligence of Supreme Lord. He is the source of all intelligence. So therefore, Lord is saying he'll be destroyed even after being benedicted by Brahma. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he describes very, very strongly the consequences of Vaishnava Aparadh. So today we'll be discussing the mechanism and intricacies of Vaishnava Aparadh, which we keep on hearing from the day one of practically bhakti. Practically from the beginning, as soon as we start coming, chanting few rounds, we come to know there is something like Vaishnava Aparadh. And many times we are not aware of what constitutes Vaishnava Aparadh. We as devotees, practicing devotees, we are always thinking, is it a Vaishnava Aparadh? Is it that Vaishnava Aparadh? What is actually Vaishnava Aparadh and what is not? So we'll be discussing about that. What is Vaishnava Aparadh? What are the consequences of Vaishnava Aparadh? As Prabhupada says, it is Matta Hati, mad elephant offense. And sometimes we do some actions which we think is not aparadh, but actually they are. And sometimes we think that Is this aparad? And actually it is not aparad. So we have to understand that when we are talking about Vaishnava aparad, two participants should be there. One is doing offense, other person who is being offended. So whether incident or action is Vaishnava aparad or not. So this is a very, very detailed description. So please be alert in the description. So what constitutes a Vaishnava aparad? It depends on the intention of the offender and two things. Intention of the offender and how the offended person perceives it. Both matter. And we'll discuss all these permutations, combinations, how it affects the life. Intention of the offender and intention of the person who is offended, how he perceives it, not just intention, how he perceives the offense. Out of these two, intention of the offender is more important. And actually, almost it is equally important how it is perceived by the person who is offended. Both matters a lot for a practicing devotee. So in these two things, there are different permutations, combinations which are possible. First is, if the action is not offensive, but the intention is offensive. Second, if the person perceives it as an offense, even if the intention was not to offend. Third, whether the action was done to follow some dharma or in current context for some managerial purpose. And this is very often, the management people, the people in the management position, they have to deal with such scenarios where they have to correct a person and the person feels offended. How to do? What will be the consequences? They had no bad intention, but the person feels offended. Another scenario which may be possible is if somebody offends others out of love. Other possibilities, if somebody offends others in ignorance. I didn't know that that person is offended. Many times it happens. I didn't know that my actions offended this person. Sometimes under the influence of some circumstances, we offend a person. And sometimes intentionally the offense is done. So many combinations, permutations are there, right? So not going to all these things. Let's see how much time we have. We can go into the discussions. So first of all, we have to understand what is the definition of offense. As this is the first nam aparad, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives or propagating the holy names of the Lord. This is the first nam aparad. And not just pure devotee, but any devotee. This definition is for any devotee who has started the practice of bhakti, who has a pure heart, pure faith, not just pure heart. Pure heart is a long way. Pure faith. With pure faith, if somebody starts chanting, that means he's a Vaishnava. So the definition is given: Hanti, Nindanti, Vaidveshti, Vaishnava na abhinandati, Krudhyate yati no harsham, darshane patanancha. 6 actions are considered offensive. First is Hanti, killing a Vaishnava. Nobody of us will do that ever. Nindanti, that is possible many times, criticizing. Dveshti, to be envious of a Vaishnava. Vaishnavan na abhinandati. This is very, very important. If somebody is not welcoming a Vaishnava properly. Fifth is krudhyate. If somebody becomes angry upon a Vaishnava. And no harsham darshane patananicha. If somebody sees a Vaishnava and he thinks, oh my God, or she thinks, oh my Lord, today's day is gone. You're not happy seeing a Vaishnava. So these are the 6 actions which are considered offensive. Hanti, Nindanti, Dveshti, Vaishnavan na abhinandati, krudhyate yati no harsham darshane. No harsham darshane. If we are not happy seeing a devotee, that's an offense. So all these offenses, they are done by our body. They can be done by the body, with our words, and in our mind. So we'll see some of the permutation combinations. First is, if the action is not offensive, but the intention is offensive. That was the first thing we saw. An example is Putana. Putana came to kill Krishna, but her action was she wanted to give milk to Krishna. Action seemed to be inoffensive, but the intention was really offensive. That is a great offense. On the other hand, if we see Yashoda is trying to bind Krishna, action looks offensive, but the intention is not offensive. Why she is binding Krishna? She wants to protect Krishna. So externally, if we see Putana is doing devotional service and Yashodama is offending Krishna, that is how externals they look like. So we have to understand the first consideration, offense is committed when the intentions are offensive. Putana's actions were not offensive, but her intention was offensive. The result is really dangerous. Of course, when it comes to something in relation with Krishna, Krishna can purify anyone. All the demons killed by Krishna, they also were benefited. They also were liberated. Of course, that liberation is not the liberation that the devotee gets. They enter into Brahma Mukti, Brahma Sayujya. But this Putana case is special. She was given the position of mother. That is the extreme mercy of Krishna. Putana lokamalagni rakshashi rudhirasana jighamsayapi hariye staram dattva sadgatim. She got the position of mother in the spiritual world. So when it comes to dealing with Vaishnavas, it is really deadly. We'll see the consequences, So we are just seeing the various ways in which offense can be done, and we are seeing the scenarios. Second, action is offensive, but the intention was not to offend. The example was very famous example. Rigumuni testing Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu. Action was really offensive. Intention was not offensive. He wanted to test, he wanted to find out who is the Supreme Lord. So intention was good. So therefore, Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, although externally Lord Shiva and Brahmaji, they spoke something or Shiva wanted to kill him, but actually they didn't take it as an offense because they knew personally it is a plan of the Lord. When Brahmaji offended, when Bhrigu Maharaj offended Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi Devi cursed Brahmanas that they will be poor. So we have to understand, Bhrigu's intention was not wrong, but still, he got the reaction. Why? Why he got the reaction? Intention was not wrong. We'll discuss a little later. So action was offensive, intention was not offensive. Bhrigu, first example, Bhrigu, Lord Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. Second example, the famous example from Bhagavatam, Chitraketu smiles at Lord Shiva. Action was offensive, but he didn't mean it. He didn't want to, criticize Lord Shiva. He didn't want to make fun of Lord Shiva. He was just amused to see how Lord Shiva is so great. Only he can do it. She is speaking on renunciation while her while his wife is sitting very, very comfortably on his lap. Only Lord Shiva could do it. Intentions were not offensive, but still he got the reaction. Of course, why he did that? Acharyas described that in a subtle way. He was thinking that I have seen Lord Sankarshan in 6 months. I can judge, I can smile at Lord Shiva. Even in good intention, His intention was not to demean Lord Shiva, but he had a little sense of pride that I have seen Lord Sankarshan in 6 months. So he thought, I have the rights to judge and smile at Lord Shiva. But with very great people, we have to understand, we have to be really careful. Parvati took it as an offense. He cursed. But interesting thing is, Lord Chitraketu was cursed to become demon by Parvati. But his devotional service continued. Very, very important. If we are offending somebody unknowingly, without any intentions, we should understand. Even if all the good intentions are there, the person in front is offended, we will have to suffer the consequences. But what will be those consequences? Those consequences will never affect our devotional service. Those offenses will create material problems in our life. And that's what happened in the life of Chitraketu Maharaj. He became a demon. But still, he told Mother Parvati, Guna Pravaha tasmin kah shapa, kah anugraha, kah swarga, narkah kova, kim sukham dukkham evava. What is hell? What is heaven? It is all the modes working in this world. He folded his hands, offered obeisances, and asked forgiveness from Mother Parvati and just silently left. Lord Shiva tells Parvati, did you see? Did you see the glorious position of the devotees of the Lord? Narayan parasarve na kutaschan bibhyati swarga apavarga narkeshu apitulyart darshinaha. See the glorious position of the devotees of the Lord. They never fear any situation. So Chitraketu Maharaj, although he got the body of a demon, but his devotional service was not destroyed. He maintained the same consciousness. Devotional service not destroyed means his consciousness was not destroyed. Because devotional service never gets destroyed. Neha karmanashvasti. Whatever devotion we do, that devotion is permanent. It's permanent account. When we do offense, our enthusiasm goes down. We go away from the active practice of devotional service. But if the offense is done without any bad intentions and the person gets offended, we may suffer the consequences materially. But our enthusiasm to practice bhakti will not be destroyed. As Chitraketu Maharaj, when he offered prayers, Indra was surprised. Who is this personality? He has more faith. He is a pure devotee. Ajata iva mataram khaga stanyam yatha vatsatara shudharta priyam priyeva vishutam vishanna manoaravindaksha didrikshate tvam nanaka prishtam na cha parameshthyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadhipatyam na yoga siddhim punarbhavam va samanjasatvam virahaya kankshi. Such beautiful prayers he's offering. I don't want anything of this world. I just want to be in association of devotees. So, when the actions are offensive, intention is not offensive, his devotional service didn't suffer. He suffered materially. Third consequence, third scenario, when the action is being done to follow dharma, that means some managerial purpose. Because people generally accuse managers, when the managers, they take some disciplinary action, they may not be offensive, but the actions need to be taken because it's a duty of the managers to correct. So we have to understand. Two scenarios we'll see. Arjun fighting with Bhishma and shooting arrows. To such an extent, there was not even a place to put finger in between two arrows. Was it offense? Jiva Goswami, he was told to leave Vrindavan because he defeated Rupa Narayan, and Rupa Goswami said, you are showing your pride. Get out of Vrindavan. Was it offense? Intention in both these cases was not to offend. Neither the affected party took it as an offense. In the case of Bhishma, Bhishma didn't take it as an offense. So therefore, these actions are not considered offensive. So, if the intention of offender and the perception of offended is offensive, reaction will be there. If it is not, will not get the reaction. If the person who is perceiving it feels offended, reaction will come for sure. Another scenario. If the offense is done out of love, this is another very, very interesting. Lakshman offended Bharat. When Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita, they are in the forest and they see, Lakshman sees a huge army coming in the forest. He climbs the tree and he says, the flag of Bharat. He says, oh, Lord Ram, this Bharat is coming to destroy you. Please give me orders. I'll kill Bharat entire army. Lord Ram says, Lakshman, how can you say these words about Bharat? If you want kingdom, I will make you the king of Ayodhya. Lakshman said, oh my Lord, why are you saying like this? Lord Ram says, I know Bharat. He is coming to take me back. So it was out of love, Lakshman offended Bharat. But what was the consequence? Lakshman was doubted by Mother Sita. Sita criticizes Lakshman when the deer comes and Sita tells Lord Ram, and Lord Ram is in the forest chasing the deer, and then Maricha, as he shot, he shouts in the voice of Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita, please protect me, save me. Sita tells Lakshman, please go and protect Lord Ram, he's in danger. Lakshman says, no, this is not the voice of Lord Ram. Who can do any harm to Lord Ram? Sita says, I know why you have come with us. You want to enjoy me? You are waiting for this situation? Lakshman, he served for 14 years without eating and drinking anything. without sleeping. And this personality is blamed, especially when there's a question on the character. In fact, after Sita was kidnapped by Ravan and Lord Ram and Lakshman, they are searching Sita. Sita, she had dropped her ornaments. And the monkeys, they picked up and they were showing to Lord Ram. And there was ankle bells, there was necklace, there was mantika. So many things were there. And Lakshman, Lord Ram is showing Lakshman. Lakshman, can you identify these jewels? Naham janami keyure, naham janami kundale, nupuroami janami nityapadavi vandanat. He says, I can't recognize this necklace. I can't recognize the earrings. I can recognize the pile, the ankle bells, anklets. Because I would never see Sita above her feet. Such character, such integrity, and he was questioned. That was the result of Lakshman offending Bharat. Intention was not to offend. It was all out of love. But still Lakshman had to go through. Another situation, when the offense is done circumstantially, Parikshit Maharaj garlanding Shamik Rishi, it was completely circumstantial. Still he was cursed to die in 7 days. The intention was not offensive, but because of circumstances, the actions became offensive. If the action is done out of ignorance, if the offense is done out of ignorance, Nal Kuvar and Manigriv offending Narad Muni, they were proud, they were intoxicated because of the pride of the wealth. Narad Muni didn't get offended because of their behavior. And he cursed them. Appeared that Narad Muni is offended, but actually it was the mercy of Narad Muni. And the result was what? They got darshan of the Lord. They got liberated. They got pure devotion. If the offense is done if the offense is done intentionally, this is very, very dangerous thing. Shaubari Muni cursing Garuda. Shaubari Muni, he was in the waters of Yamuna doing meditation for thousands of years. And Garuda, he came to eat fish because that's the food of Garudev. And Shaubari, he had this conception that I'm staying here, it is the duty, it is my duty to protect these fishes. He cursed Garuda. He warned him once, but Garuda still came and he picked up one fish. Shaubari Muni cursed Garuda. It was offense. Because he was acting out of pride, out of attachment. So offense was with intention. Daksha criticizing Lord Shiva. Another very, very graphic scenario. It was intentional offense. So all these things we saw, all these scenarios, no intention, no perception. It was not an offense. We saw the example of Jiva Goswami. No intention, but perception. We saw the example of Chitraketu Maharaj. Intention, but no perception. We didn't discuss this, we'll not discuss that. We have less time. And other scenario was there was intention and there was perception. The example of Daksha and Shiva. So now, if there is no intention, and no perception. Okay, my action may be offensive, but the intention was not offensive, and the person in front is also not taking it as an offense. No reaction at all. There will be no problem. Even if the action is offensive, intention is not offensive, perception is not offensive, no problem. If there is no intention but perception, a person in front is offended, although we didn't have any intentions to offend, the result is we will suffer materially. Material sufferings will come. There will not be any break in devotional service, but material suffering will come. If a Vaishnava is offended, it depends whether you have done it, offended it intentionally or not, the person is offended, some consequences will come. Material consequences, not spiritual. Our bhakti will not get destroyed, our enthusiasm will not get destroyed, but some material problems will come. If there is intention and there is perception also, then it is very deadly. And we see the story of Daksha. He had to suffer for many lives. And his bhakti was also destroyed. So therefore, if the intention is offensive and the perception is offensive, then it is most deadly. And of course, most of the times we don't come under this category. Intention is offensive. We don't plan to offend a devotee intentionally. Daksha was doing that. Daksha was intentionally criticizing Lord Shiva. You're Markatalochan. He doesn't dress properly. He is destroying the fame of all the controllers of the universe. I don't know why I gave my daughter to him. It was only because of my father, Brahma. Intentional. Result, he was killed. His bhakti was destroyed. And even if he appeared again as second Daksha from Prachetas, still the offensive mentality didn't go. Again, he offended Narad Muni. When Narad Muni, he made 60,000 sons, 10,000 sons of Daksha into brahmacharis, and then 1,000 more. The mentality didn't go. So now, when it comes to ISKCON managers, those who are in managerial role, when the offense is done as a part of our services, how to handle that? Because many times decisions are perceived as offensive, right? Our intentions may be very good, but the decisions are perceived as offense. So we have to be very careful why we are making some decisions, why we are punishing a devotee. Those who are in the leadership role, those who are the managers, intentions are most important. If the intention is pure, and if we are doing it only to carry out our responsibility, right intention, but even if the offense is perceived, you have to understand, managers, even if the devotee gets offended, some material reaction will come. But there will be no break in devotional service. That is a thankless task a manager has to do. And for sure, we should be rest assured that if the intentions are pure, that material impediment will only increase and speed up the practice of bhakti. And that's what happened in the case of Chitraketu. He became so intense that in just next life, he went back home, back to Godhead. Although he had to go through a lot. So if the intention is not bad and the person gets offended, what to do then? First thing is, if we understand that this person is offended, immediately the first thing is go and beg forgiveness. That's the first thing we have to do. We know the story of Rupa Goswami doing meditation, and he was absorbed in Krishna Leela, and in that Leela he saw Radharani is plucking the flowers from a branch, and Krishna was just holding it below. And when Radharani was just hanging on, Krishna left the branch. And Radharani is in here hanging. And Rupa Goswami seeing this starts laughing in meditation. And then at that time, there was one Brajvasi passing by who was limping. And he thought that Rupa Goswami is laughing at me. Even Rupa Goswami, he had to suffer the consequences. The meditation was gone. So we have to understand this Vaishnava aparadh, whether done intentionally or unintentionally, if the perception is offensive, some reaction will come. So therefore, we have to be extra careful. Those who are in the managerial roles, we have to be extra careful. If we are punishing or giving some judgment, we have to always judge why I am doing it. Whenever we give some feedback, there are various things we should think before giving feedback, before correcting a person. There are 4 questions we should ask before giving feedback or correcting a person. Is it the right time? Is it the right place? Am I the right person? Is it the right way? And do I have right intentions? 5 questions. Very, very important. Is it the right time? Is it the right place? Am I the right person? Is it the right way to do it? And do I have right intentions? So these 5 questions are very, very important. And if all these answers are yes, then only we should give feedback. Otherwise, the person may get offended. And even after hearing all these discussions, sometimes we still, because of our conditionings, we do something wrong. As soon as we realize we have done a wrong thing, first thing we should do is go and beg forgiveness. We should not wait. So as soon as we realize, we have to run and ask forgiveness. And forgiveness is not just a lip service. We should actually mean it. That is very important. Otherwise, the consequences will be sure. So therefore, whatever is in our hand, we should do. The person, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in the Madhurya Kadambini on this topic of offense, he says the first thing is go and ask forgiveness. And if the person still doesn't forgive, we have to serve that Vaishnava. Still, if he doesn't forgive or she doesn't forgive, continue serving the Vaishnava for a long time in a very, very repentant mood. Still, if he or she doesn't forgive, we can just depend on the holy name and pray to the Lord. But our actions are more important. We have to be really very thorough about our intentions. That matters a lot. Because many times, when we punish someone or criticize someone, we have some bad experiences about the person in the past. And if the person does something wrong, we bring everything and start criticizing and speaking wrong about the person, or start offending and chastising the person. We have to be really careful. What is my intention behind this? Not just for managers, for anyone. If we are chastising or criticizing someone, what is my intention? Do I really want to help the person? Or I have some grudge? That's why I'm doing it now. And because I got a right, chance. This person did some mistake, so I'm just correcting him. What can I do? No, intention was wrong. So therefore, we have to be extra careful. We have to be very, very attentive and very, very uh, aware of why I am doing this. So it is very, very important to understand all this. And all this knowledge of offenses and who is offending and who is offended, we are all learning it. So we have to understand when we are speaking, we have to speak the facts, but it should be very, very careful. So that's how, actually, a real Vaishnava doesn't take offense, but it is said Krishna takes the offense. So first thing is we have to be very careful. So that's how here Narad Srila Prabhupada is describing Vaishnava Aparad. Prabhupada writes, although devotee never takes offense, he is Ajata Shatrava, Shanta, Sadhava, Sadhu Bhushana. A devotee never takes offense, he is non-envious, he has no enemies. But if we offend a devotee, it is said, 10th canto describes, Ayu, Shriyo, Yasho, Dharma, Lokana, Shisha, Evacha, Hanti, Shreyamsi, Sarvani, Pumso, Mahat, Atikramaha. If a great personality is offended, for us, everyone is great personality. We should not think, he is not great personality. He is just started chanting few days back, I can offend him, I can chastise him or her. No. Everyone who has come to Krishna consciousness, whoever they may be, they are great devotees. Ayu, Shriya, Yasha, Dharma, Lokana, Shisha. The age decreases, wealth, fame, auspiciousness, everything goes down, strength. Pumso Mahat Atikramaha. So we have to be really careful that our process of bhakti depends on devotees. Devotees are not just a part of our process, they are the most important limbs in our life. They are not replaceable. That's why all the great devotees, when Lord appears in front of them, what are they asking? Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, what are they asking? Parikshit Maharaj, even at the time of death, what is he asking? Oh, he says that if I have to come back in this world, please give me three things. I may develop affection for the living entities in general, friendship with devotees, and loving relation with the Supreme Lord. So Maharaj, what is he praying? Bhakti moho prabhatam tvai me prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayana dhenanja sulbanamuro vyasanam bhavabdim neshe bhadgun katha mritapana. Oh my Lord, please give me a chance to be with your devotees. Bhakti moho, again and again I want to hear your katha in association of your devotees, oh my Lord, because by associating with your devotees, I will very easily cross this ocean of material existence. Prahlad Maharaj, what is he praying? Oh my Lord, I was fallen in this deep dark well of material existence. Your devotee saved me. Please give me a chance to serve your devotee. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama vikama manuya prapatan prasangat Kritvatmasasura Bhagavan Grihita Soham Katham Visrijeta Vabhritya Seva. How can I give up the service to Narad Muni? Then he says, oh my Lord, I want to hear your katha in association of your devotees. Soham Priyas Surida Paradevataya Leela Katha Stava Narsimha Virinchagita. I want to be in association of devotees, oh my Lord. Again and again, all the devotees are asking what? Please give us association of devotees. And it is our fortune that we have received such wonderful association, so many devotees. So Krishna expects that we should be very careful not to offend devotees. And of course, we are awarded maturity depending on our intensity. When we are really intense and we are serious, then Krishna gives the maturity how to behave in what situation. For that, we have to be always prayerful. Keep on praying to Krishna. Keep on praying to Mahaprabhu. And that's the only way we can be protected from this Vaishnava Prad. So that is the wonderful thing I wanted to discuss. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this very, very important topic today. It was really helpful, Prabhuji. I request devotees if questions they can ask, raise their hands. Prabhuji, one
Hare Krishna,
I
Prabhuji.
heard that. Hare Krishna Mataji, yes Mataji, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to Prabhuji. Prabhuji came very last minute, and so sorry about that, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for very, very beautiful class. Very nicely you explained about Vaishnava Prad. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for this question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my question is with respect to if intention is also correct and the perception is also not there, you said no problem. Sometimes Krishna takes offense. So what is that case? Intention would be wrong in that case?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Yashoda, her intention was good. Of course, Krishna was offended because he was not given milk on time. But still, that is a different case. So Krishna basically sees our intentions. And if the person doesn't feel offended, no problem at all. So our actions sometimes, because this happens, when we are talking with our friends, sometimes we joke with them, we are intimate, we know each other. So we may make fun of the person, and the person also doesn't, take it seriously because we are friends. We know each other. So it is not perceived as an offense. So there is no problem in that. So that scenario is not in question itself. It is because the intention is also good and the person doesn't perceive it also. The action may be offensive. Somebody may be speaking some, chastisement and criticism, and the person in front is also laughing because he understands, okay, he's just now making some casual statement. So that is not taken as so much as an offense. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Krishna Prabhuji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhagavati Mataji. Thank you, Gaurvilas Prabhu. I was actually traveling, but I heard your class. It was wonderful about Vaishnava Prad. Just I want to know, I have some 2-3 Zoom classes every day. So some Zoom classes, 20 devotees are listening. All are video closed, no sound. 1 hour I talk, in the end they said, thank you very much. It was both badhiya tha. I said, that is not the way. We need some interaction, no? After I do about half an hour, I ask, sabko samjha, any doubts? No, everything fine. So is that, I'm not offending, I'm not asking for any glorification or talia. But like a mother is always want to know whether the child has understood. So it is with an intention to know whether they have understood, because this video is closed. I don't know whether they are sleeping or sitting or watching WhatsApp, nothing. So how do we handle, what do you say? That I feel sometimes that I should not ask. But if I don't ask, I don't know whether they will learn, because itne acha kahani bolke, also bolke, and no response, just हाँ, it was बढ़िया था, बहुत बढ़िया था. I said, then I will ask question. If you say बढ़िया था, I will ask question. So how do I handle? What is your
I am experiencing this last 3-4 years since COVID, and generally I just have accepted it because I think everybody is in a different situation. Many times they cannot even put their videos on. Somebody may be doing something, traveling or something. So yeah, online classes will always be like this, Prabhuji. We have to just accept this fact. And we can just ask a question in the end if there is any question. And if everybody is okay and no question is so, we have to just accept it.
But what
We
I
cannot just.
feel is in between after 15 minutes, there should be a response. No, when I'm asking सब ठीक है, एकदम silent, complete. So I don't know whether they are put to sleep.
Personally, I don't have that expectation because online classes are meant to be like that. Because you can't expect in the online class that okay, somebody will keep on saying and yes, yes, you can see nodding, people devote nodding. No, it is not like that. They may be in a different situation, but they want to hear at least. And online classes are anyways not so interesting, so to say, because person is not there personally present. But still, devotees are making an effort to hear something, so we have to just appreciate it as a duty, as a service to this.
This is not really online because every day I went to Delhi, Sai Baba. It's online, offline, both. We go every year, I go and meet them. So it is a relation built up, but still people are not that proactiveness is important. When you hear, you should tell, yes, kya hua, acha laga, you're getting bored, you can tell. I always tell that if you feel sick, go something bored lag raha hai, then we will not do it. But I feel sometimes sad, not that they didn't tell or commented about my class, but whether they have understood or not. That is the only question mark. Progress is there or not.
One thing we can do is we can just express our feelings without judging anyone. This is a very important art we have to learn. Many times, just like I'll give an example. If a person is coming late for Mangalarti, so there are two ways I can give a feedback. If you are so lazy, you can't come on time, you every day come late. Prabhu, today you came at 4:30, Mangalarti starts, you came at 4:40. I didn't give any judgments. Oh, you are lazy.
Hare Krishna, is it only?
You are,
We can't hear.
Sound didn't come.
His connection is going out.
Yeah, the network.
Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No,
now it's audible.
Now things are okay.
Now,
In between went off.
but we missed from when you were talking about Prabhuji coming late to Mangala Arti, and then we missed after that.
We missed what you
so
told.
There are two ways. The person may say, oh, you came 10 minutes. You are so lazy. You are coming late. Every day you are late. You are so lazy. Why can't you come on time? Another way is just state the fact that you came 10 minutes late. No need to tell an adjective, add an adjective, you are lazy or you are irresponsible. That is one thing we should learn. Second, whenever we are giving a feedback, we should tell, just like if one devotee comes and doesn't speak to me properly, and every time he does so, so there are two ways to tell a feedback. I can say, Prabhu, why are you so callous in your dealings? Can't you be more personal? Another way is, Prabhu, when you don't speak, to me properly, I feel neglected. I feel so very bad. I'm not judging the person. I'm just expressing my feelings.
Feeling.
So that nobody can, say, oh, why do you feel like that? No, nobody will say like that. But if we judge the person, then the person becomes, he starts making a wall. No, no, why he's telling all this about me? Uh, If we just state what we feel, that is a better way of communicating. you know. So while giving feedback, we have to be, using these keeping 2, 3 things in mind. Am I judging a person? And am I giving just my feedback as my feelings? Or I am just making some comments about the person? So just state the facts, just tell how we feel, and don't judge the person. These are the few things we can do. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now I request Radha Jyoti Mataji, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. Prabhuji, say that when we have a connection when we serve to seniors, and we know that we are not having any ill intentions, and we always try to ask them if there is a mistake, then please forgive. If in case they feel offended because of services that we are doing, we tend to do mistakes. And in this case, when the seniors are not responding and not giving feedback, and we are thinking that they are not speaking, it means we did some mistake or we offended them very badly. So in this situation, what we should do? They are perceiving it, they are not expressing it, and not even accepting our forgiveness. So in this situation, how we should repent ourselves, because we are not able to understand what is happening at that side, even though consciously we are not doing it. So in this situation, how the action should be taken, Prabhuji? Could you please teach on this?
So as I understood the question, if we did something wrong and nobody came and told us, that is the scenario. And I know that the authorities know that I have done this mistake, but still they are not telling me anything. Maybe they are upset, so much upset that they don't even want to tell me. So is this a right question? That's what I understood.
Yes, we have not done any mistake, but they are thinking because of our situation, they are perceiving it, and they're not even giving a feedback. They're
So how
thinking.
you get to know if the authorities are not telling and you have not done any mistakes? So why you are thinking that they perceived it as an offense, a mistake?
Yes, they're not giving any feedback.
No, but my question is, but if you have not done any mistake and the authorities are not telling you something, so then why are you feeling that they have some thoughts, they are thinking that I am doing some mistake and they're not telling me? So just I didn't understand this.
Yes, Prabhuji, because when we have a communication, the communication that was happening prior to and the communication which is happening right now, there is a difference. So on that basis, we can understand, right?
Okay, so basically, we can be very frank in asking them, "Ki Prabhuji, Mataji, if you can very honestly give me a feedback." Many times the authorities, they don't give us feedback because not about you, because I'm just telling a general understanding. Many times when devotees, they do something, some mistake, and some feedback is given, they don't accept it. So the authorities, they start thinking, he will anyways not listen. Just forget it. Just leave. And when Krishna wants, he'll or she will get, she'll understand. And if we are not in that category, but still the communication is going in a different way, you can always express that, is everything right in my behavior? Can you just express, then can you just tell me how I can improve? So when we give the confidence to the seniors that I want to be corrected, I want to rectify, then they'll open up. We have to give them the confidence. Otherwise, many times unconsciously by our actions, I've seen people, by their actions, they are doing something wrong and authorities are not so much happy, but the person is not showing any inclination to get corrected. So therefore, the authorities also, seniors also think, okay, leave him or her, she'll understand in due course of time, in a hard way. So we have to proactively go and ask for the feedback. And in a genuine way, then the devotees seniors may open up. So that is one thing we can do. And of course, if many people, if because of our actions, many are getting offended, many are getting disturbed, for sure authorities will come and tell us. So we should not be so much concerned if there is no feedback coming. Oh, it seems that they are upset with me, and that's why they're not talking with me, and I don't know what I have done. Just go and ask them, very, very sincere way. They'll tell. And if they say, no, okay, we are all well, then just forget it. Don't think too much, because we have so many other things to think about. We have to think, how can I advance in devotional service? How can I become more strong in my commitment towards my seva, sadhana, sadachar, swadhyaya? We should not create unnecessary anxieties when they are not there. So these are some of the thoughts.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'll try to be more sincere to ask if in case I would receive the feedback, it will be grateful to them. I'll be grateful to them. Thank you, Prabhuji, for guiding and teaching always. And thank you for the last session where I was hearing it again, but there are a few questions regarding that, how to apply practically. I'll ask you later because I'm not having that notes right now. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji, for that question. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this very, very wonderful insight and giving a very much clear understanding on this subject matter. Thank you, Prabhu. Now I request Manjari Leela Mataji, you can please ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Prabhuji, wonderful class as always. Very important subject matter for Vaishnava Prada and how we should not only understand our intention, but also the perception of the other person. So that's very important. My question to you is, sometimes we understand and we are more cognizant with the devotee community overall, but sometimes we have within the family, we have, Vaishnavas like, our parents or our kids, our siblings, husband, wife, whatever. We may have Vaishnavas in the home, which we, it's like familiarity breeds contempt. So we sometimes tend to offend the family members in this way, even though they're Vaishnavas. So how to rectify that, or how do we, I don't know if that's even possible to not have that, because it's sometimes, I guess I understand for kids, it is our authority. We're in the authority, so it's okay, out of love, obviously. But for the other members, right? When we have parents, when we have our significant others, or our siblings, how do we make sure that we don't commit these kinds of offenses within the family members, or how do we avoid it if we can even?
Yeah, that is really a serious concern. All of us go through that, when we are dealing with our family members, when they are devotees. So one thing is, when something is done out of love, if the background is love, and some harsh words are spoken, so the person may not take it so much in a wrong way. But if the person gets offended, whoever he or she may be, our relative or whoever, we have to be really careful that it constitutes Vaishnava Aparadh. So only way is we have to be extra careful in our prayers towards the Supreme Lord. Keep on praying every day that I may not offend a Vaishnava. Once in a while, hearing about these, effects of Vaishnava Aparadh, some stories about Vaishnava Aparadh, about like Daksha story and Chitragir. All these stories, they remind us how dangerous it is, because it is like, as you said, familiarity breeds contempt. It is so very natural. It comes even unconsciously, because we see people. I'll just give an example. One time in our temple, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was there in his room, and Giriraj Swami Maharaj, he called. And His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, when he called, so the secretary, Radhanath Swami Maharaj's secretary, picked up the phone. And Giriraj Maharaj said, "Can I talk to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj?" So Radhanath Maharaj and Giriraj Maharaj, they are very close friends. They spent years, decades in Krishna consciousness together. But still, the devotee was telling that, wow, it was such a, it was like formal address. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He didn't have to tell the whole thing. But still, although they were very familiar, but they didn't, they didn't just lack the etiquettes of Vaishnava. Okay, I can be familiar. No need to just offer respects. No need to glorify. Many times we miss that. When we are too familiar with somebody, we miss respecting the devotee for his or her Vaishnava qualities. So as a devotee, we should always remember that of all the things a person is doing, his being or her being a devotee is the foremost. And we should always give respect to that aspect. And that's the most important part. That's the Mukhya Lakshan. That's the primary symptom. And everything else is secondary. So we should always keep this in mind that, okay, whoever that person may be, my friend, my brother, sister, or whatever. First, he's a devotee and then everything. If we remember all these details of Vaishnava etiquette, then we will, be careful. We'll be very, very close, intimate, but will not be casual. Will not offend in a casual way. And the worst part is, when the person feels offended, and we have seen in our ashram also, some two devotees are there and one is making fun of others, pulling leg. And the person thinks that, oh, it is like fun atmosphere and everybody is laughing and enjoying. But the person who is the object of, fun, he feels offended. And nobody even realizes. Till the time the person is also laughing, joking, enjoying, it's all well. But if the person gets offended, then it is very, very difficult. So we have to understand how much is too much, where we have to stop our frivolous behavior. Frivolous is a very big word, but still, casual behavior. So we have to always remember this concept of etiquettes. Familiarity does not mean we can give away the etiquettes. We can just keep these etiquettes aside. No. Because these etiquettes, they keep us protected. So it should not become too formal when we are with our family members, of course, But the basic level of etiquette should always be there, understanding that he or she is a devotee. So that's what I can think of.
Yeah, that's very
Hare.
important. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I understand, understanding that first thing is that they're devotees. But even at that time, sometimes when you're in the whole emotional, obviously because you've lived with them for with parents, for whatever your age is until then, and then your siblings, it's like your whole lifetime. So you come in Krishna consciousness maybe a few years back, even though you've been in Krishna consciousness before, but it's not to this extent as last couple of years. So that old behavior sometimes comes up with another Vaishnav in the family, and it's very hard, even though you understand they're devotees. And I know it's not like something serious. We even may forgive. We may forgive afterwards and talk it out. But there's that point that offense had been done at, even though it's been forgiven, but that offense has been done. And even out of no intention, the person may feel that I'm offended, family member. So it's very hard. And as you said, Krishna doesn't, he takes offense, even if the devotee may forgive. So this is a very, very difficult situation, I feel. It's just, even with understanding their devotees.
It is very difficult situation, but it is not so much to be obsessed with it. We should not be so much obsessed. Oh my God, I have to be very careful. Of course, we have to live our normal life, regular, just making good friends and joking and laughing, and because most of the times things are normal. And Krishna also understands. He is not a person who is with his rod ready to punish us. So we have to understand that overall we should have a loving relationships. Once in a while, okay, some things ups and downs, they are accepted. Fights happen everywhere. We should not be so much concerned about, oh, I'm fighting with this person, this devotee, and what will happen to my devotion. Sometimes, these are, even Draupadi and Bhima were fighting over an issue. Even Bhima and Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhima, he said after a gambling match, I want to burn the hands of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Can you imagine this?
Yeah.
So we have to be, not so much obsessed with this principle of Vaishnava Aparadh, but we should always be very, very careful and alert.
Yeah.
Consciousness is intentional thing is very important. Am I intentionally doing something? Most of the times we are not. So that's how we have to just enjoy Krishna consciousness, not so much obsessed with this principle of Aparadh. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very, very, very wonderful topic, Prabhuji. It was really helpful. Prabhuji, one more question with this. If there is some situation happened and the person intention was good, nothing wrong, but somehow, as Mataji was speaking, some because of their swabhava or something, they spoke or something in a different way, and the person was also not perceived. But the time being, it has happened. But the third person who is witnessing, they feel offended. They feel, why this happened? So
that's what
is that
happened
also,
in Chittu Maharaj's case. Shiva didn't take offense, but Parvati felt offended.
so it is still an offense.
If the person, if some person feels, because Parvati had a relationship with Lord Shiva, that's why she felt offended. So if the other person thinks that no, this, just like two devotees are talking and in a casual way, joking way, and a third person is saying, how can you be so frivolous and casual? And then it is not so much of an issue. In that case of Parvati, she was connected to Lord Shiva. She felt offended. But if the third person is just stating as a fact that, oh, it seems that you are not behaving properly, that is not so much of the problem, I think, because the person may not be aware of the friendly relationship between two devotees. So that should not be a problem. We can just accept, we can just hear, and we should not neglect the advice. If the third person comes and says, Prabhu, I think, Mataji, I think you should be more conscious while dealing, we should very respectfully hear and acknowledge it. If we don't acknowledge and if we don't take the feedback in right mood, in right way, the person will feel offended. We have to just take the feedback in a right way, and you can say, yes, I'll try to correct myself. If you say, okay, I know, yeah, she's my very close friend, so that person will feel bad. So that's how Vaishnava etiquettes, they are very, very subtle. Over a period of years, we learn all this thing. Of course, as I am speaking all this, it is not that I am there right up speaking all these things. I have heard all this. And to tell you the reality, today morning only, there was some argument with some devotee, and I chastised that devotee, and then I realized I didn't do it in a right place. So then immediately I went and asked forgiveness. So many times even after knowing everything, we'll do mistakes. But what we do after doing the mistake, after committing that mistake, that is very important. So where is human, we will do many mistakes, we'll make mistakes. But as soon as we realize, we should leave our ego and go and ask forgiveness, however senior we may be.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, one last question. If there is, you also spoke about etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette. If you, as I said, a third person feels offended, and it is Vaishnava etiquette not followed. So the third person is witnessing that. Maybe the person who is doing or affected, they are not perceiving. So this is an environment thing. So how to handle this? As you said, the devotee should go and speak in a very humble way, tell them, or if I go and tell them, they are in a okay mood. If I tell, I will be. What is it for you?
As I said, yeah. As I said, there are 5 things we should always think. Is it the right time, right place, right way? Am I the right person? Are my intentions good? So always we should see these things and then try to give feedback. So if I'm not the right person, they are close friends, they are having some discussions and they are fighting, no problem. So we should not just give feedback. So we have to always judge in these 5 things. And that's how we have to learn.
Yes.
Okay, I think there are no questions.
Yes, Prabhu, there are no questions.
Sometimes a person commits offense, does not know that he has committed offense unless it is expressed by offended person. Yeah. So if the person comes and tells, Prabhu, I'm really offended by your behavior, immediately we should ask forgiveness. That is the first thing we should do. We should never judge. We should never justify. Sorry. I didn't mean that. I was not offending you, but the person is offended. What to do? Even if we didn't have any intention, but the person is offended, what to do? The feelings of the devotee is important. First thing is we have to ask forgiveness. Until I will not repeat this. Can you tell me how I can rectify in future? What should I do? So whatever, these are some of the things we can and we should also try to serve that person if possible. When we serve the devotee, then the person will really feel happy and he or she will forgive. So these are some things we can do. Okay, so there are no questions.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai, Srila
jai.
Prabhupada
जय
Praise
Jai.
Gaurvilas Prabhuji ki jai.
जय
Jai, Hare
जय
Krishna. Thank you,
Gauranga.
Prabhupada.
जय
Thank